Hello and welcome to the Spandex and Wine podcast. I'm your host, Robin Hackney, and I'm so happy that you're here. This podcast is a place for conversations about balancing a healthy lifestyle and being happy. More specifically, happy hour. Together, we'll explore all things wellness and wine. I hope you learn a little, laugh a lot, and along the way, know you're not alone on this balanced wellness journey. Ready to jump in? Pour something in your glass that makes you happy because it's time for Spandex and Wine. Hello and welcome to the Spandex and Wine podcast. Today's guest is my friend and wine mentor, Penny Fitzgerald. She is respected by many, loved by all, the girl next door, but also the goal-getter that you will want to know all of her secrets. So Penny, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Robin. That was so sweet. What a great introduction. Thank you.
Well, I mean, all of it. You sit way up on a pedestal in my life.
Oh, gosh.
So thank you. All right. So I want to kick it off with a few rapid fire questions. But before that, I want to know what's in your glass.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I have a Tempranillo today. A Tempranillo, it's a blend, and it's lovely. It's a beautiful red, golden, beautiful kind of garnet color and lovely.
It looks fantastic. I have bubbly water. So,
oh, well, it's almost happy hour.
That is correct. That is correct. Okay. So we're going to do this or that style. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Red or white wine?
Depends on the day. But okay, that wasn't rapid. Red today.
Okay. I guess it depends on the hour of the day too, right?
It does. Yes.
Cardio or weights?
Cardio.
Okay. Stainless steel or oak?
Stainless steel.
Okay.
Well, that's another one that's, if it's white, it's stainless steel. If it's red, you got to have a little oak.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yoga or Pilates?
Ooh, Pilates.
Nice. Do you currently take a class somewhere?
I don't currently. I used to, and I really like it. I find that yoga, I'm not as flexible as I would like to be, and yoga kind of is intimidating to me. So I prefer Pilates and getting sweaty.
Okay, that's interesting. That might be something we need to explore at another time.
I would love to. Yes.
Okay. And then last one, happy hour or after dinner drinks?
Oh gosh. Happy hour and not limited to an hour.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, Penny, I absolutely love your story, and I feel like you don't share it enough. I know the first time that I heard it, I was so inspired by you. So if you wouldn't mind sharing, and you can share anything that you want, but make sure you let us all know about that summer that changed your life, that you took that step of faith and you just made everything happen.
Oh gosh.
So I'll let you go.
Okay. Well, gosh. Thank you. Well, as you know, I'm a wine guide with Traveling Vineyard, doing in-home wine tastings. And when I first started as a wine guide, I really didn't intend to start as a wine guide. I was doing a corporate job in sales and loved what I did. But it wasn't, I love the people, I should say. I loved the people that I worked with. I loved doing what I was doing, but what I was selling was, fulfillment. So corporate fulfillment, like third party, doing the order taking, processing, payment processing, and pick, pack, and ship after the sale, and then customer service. So, selling those services to other companies. And, I loved who I worked with, but it just wasn't as joyful as I was wanting. And it felt more and more corporate, more and more, like the quotas were becoming unrealistic for everyone. And, it just was a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, and my health was starting to kind of deteriorate. Not, I could tell some differences in my health because of it. Sitting in a meeting with my heart rate going up to 130 beats a minute. And I thought,
no, that's not good.
No. And I thought, I should probably look for something else to do. So,
yes.
I, kind of looked around and thought, what what should I do? What brings me joy? And there were, several things that I looked at, or several, I guess, topics that I like, but I didn't think that they were careers. And then I thought, well, what about a wine distributor or a wine wholesaler or representative of a wine company? And so I started looking into that and was talking about doing something like that. And I mentioned it to some of my girlfriends, and one of them had heard about Traveling Vineyard. She said, why don't you look into this? And at first I thought, oh, that's not a real opportunity. That's not a real job. It didn't sound real or like a career. And I was kind of turned off by direct sales in the past. And I thought I didn't want anything to do with that. But I thought, what's the worst that can happen? I order the kit, drink the wine, and be done with it. So, that's what I did in the beginning. Just had some fun. And as I got my kit and started doing the wine tastings, had a lot of fun. And 2 weeks later, my company went through a reduction in force and my entire department was let go. So I know there's the corporate stress again. And I thought, oh my gosh, and I'm talking to myself here and sometimes to my husband, but I said, do you think that this is something that I could do full time? And we kind of discussed it together as a couple and as a team, and thought, what would be the worst that would happen here? Let's give it a try. And I thought, I'm not sure if it can make ends meet or not, but I thought the more tastings I do, the more my business will build. Maybe it'll lead to some other things. It'll at least give me some information about wine, and I'll learn more, and maybe eventually I'll become that wholesaler or distributor or whatever. Well, that was 17 and a half years ago. So
oh my gosh.
Here
wow.
I am. I'm still here. And I absolutely love it. But what really, changed for me, I think I had found somewhere in there, I had found a position with a local women's organization. So I was their director of operations, after I had been doing Traveling Vineyard for a handful of months, 3-4 months, something like that. And this opportunity presented itself as the director of operations, but it was a part-time position. And I thought that'll work perfectly with my Traveling Vineyard business. I can build them both. And theoretically it should have worked because it was allegedly a 20-hour-a-week job.
Yeah.
It ended up being 60. And so it left very little time for Traveling Vineyard. And so, I, again, loved the people that I worked with, loved what I was doing. I believed in the mission of the organization of lifting women up and building our careers, but it just didn't leave time for me or my business, my personal business. So I went to or Jeff, exactly. And he was, opposed to that. I was too. So that summer I went to Harvest, which is our annual convention with Traveling Vineyard, and just was really inspired by what I was hearing, and from talking with some of the other women, especially, and that we do have some men that are wine guys as well, wine guides who call themselves wine guys, but mostly women. And I met a lot of inspiring people and just thought that's what I want. And I was, again, spending too much time at the women's organization and doing menial work like reporting and online stuff that really wasn't actually meeting with people or filling their needs. It just was really organizational and administrative and not helping much. So anyway, I went to Harvest, and on the plane ride home, I took out my pad of paper and started writing down, okay, what do I need? What kind of money would I need to make in order to be able to quit my job, be able to quit the women's organization? And I mapped it out. This is how much I'll need. How many events would that mean? How many wine tasting events would I need to do? And I determined that it was going to be, I think it was going to be 9 events a month. To do that. And I took the plan to Jeff, my husband, and I said, okay, here's the plan, and if I make X amount of dollars in this amount of time, are you okay with me quitting my job? And he knew I hated it. He knew I hated not fulfilling what I originally wanted to do. And he said, yeah, if you can make that kind of money, I don't care. That's fine. And so I put my plan into place and I booked 9 events. And within a month and a half, I had tripled my income and tripled what I said I was going to do. And Jeff was like, yeah, that's great. Go for it. And I was happy. Yeah. And I was working less hours. I was having fun. I was bringing joy to people. I was sharing wine. And I had time for Jeff. So it was a win-win all the way around, or a wine, I guess.
A wine.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I can totally relate, because I was in a similar situation where I worked in the corporate world for almost a decade and I hated it. I absolutely hated it, but I felt stuck, I didn't know where I was going to go or what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was working out with some girlfriends and I just ended up being the one that was doing the workouts. And, I'd searched and searched. I'm like, what in the heck am I going to do? And then I thought, why not turn this into a career? Right. So that was over 20 years ago when I got into the fitness industry. So, I know that leap, that step is so scary. It's so scary.
Very. Yeah. Yeah. Cause you just don't know. And you're relying on you and not a regular paycheck. You have to build it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we're both in another scary stage now that we're both launching podcasts.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about your podcast.
Oh, my podcast is called Penny for Your Shots.
Love the name.
Thank you. That was another girlfriend who came up with that idea. And it all comes right back to women, and fulfilling our what is driving us internally. What is it that we are longing to do? What voice have we squashed over the years? What brings you joy? What lights us up? Going back to the corporate job, I loved what I did. I loved the people, the women's organization. I loved lifting women up, and we all have stories. And this podcast is about sharing those stories. Like why did you choose your field of business? Why did you choose that? Would you do anything differently? What would you tell your younger self as you were getting started? What do you wish you would have known? And then, because wine brings people together, at the end of every episode, I'm asking my people, what memories do they have with their girlfriends or anyone around wine? Like what wine did you share? What stories came up? What do you want to share? And just talk about our experiences with wine or cocktails and girlfriends.
Oh, I love that. I can't wait. This is going to be amazing. Penny for Your Shots. That's so cool. And it goes along with how you describe your wine business too. You say that you do edutaining, which I think is so cool. That's so fun. That's such a fun way of putting it. And I know that, we both do in-home wine tastings, but you're shifting a little bit more into some corporate events. Yes. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yes, I love doing corporate events. And this time of year, I think, and it's especially pertinent because people are kind of starting to think about, how can I reward my employees, or how can I thank my key clients, or what can I do to recognize people in my organization or in my circle of influence? And so these Zoom happy hours that I've been doing are perfect for that. So, basically, I curate a set of wine, usually 3 bottles, but it can be anything, especially if you want extra wine for gifts and that sort of thing. But I help you, and I select the wines for you and for the company, and ship those wines directly to your key clients or to your employees or associates. And then we schedule a Zoom happy hour where I walk everyone through the wine and do a little edutaining with the wine and teach people, why you swirl and sniff and what foods go with that wine, or maybe a little bit about that wine region. And really, I curate that presentation or that happy hour to be interactive and to be a wine experience based on your people and what your associates would like to see or hear, and to kind of connect them and bring them together and do a little team building too.
Yes. I'm so glad you said team building, because I was just thinking about, like, if you're stuck on a stranded island, what 3 items would you want to take? You know, those team building exercises that you do. I'm laughing at that, but I just did that at one of my retreats. But anyway, that would just be
I
so
love
much more
it.
fun than, just a regular meeting.
Yeah, for sure. And not just a presentation, but an interactive event where you're, you know, connecting and growing together.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That would just be so much fun.
Yeah. And
Don't you
tasting,
wish
of
that our
course.
companies used to do that for us? That would
I
have been wonderful.
know.
Maybe we would have stayed. Oh my gosh. Besides that, I know that you have said before that you do some competitions that you judge.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay. I
that's
don't even,
super
how did you
fun.
get into that?
Oh gosh. Okay, that's kind of fun too because my husband's actually the one who prompted me to do that. He had seen somewhere or heard somewhere on the radio maybe that there was a local call for people who love wine, who have, you know, maybe not even in the wine industry, but people who love wine. If you're a pretty good taster, which I consider myself to be, that we could go in and audition to be a wine judge at this local competition. And it was the Mid-American Wine Competition, which is no longer around because with COVID, it dissolved, but it was a fundraising event and it just really was a great event. But anyway, we were able to go in and audition for it. So basically what happened is you'd be sitting around a table. And I believe there were maybe 25 of us that tried out for this, for the local wine judges. And the people who were facilitating it brought a cart out with 5 glasses. All 5 glasses contained, it was a Sauvignon Blanc. We knew that much. They told us that there were Sauvignon Blancs in the glass, but 5 different Sauvignon Blancs. So, and you didn't know what they were specifically, but that, 5 glasses of wine in front of you, all Sauvignon Blanc. And then they gave you a piece of paper and a pen. And they said, okay, take any notes that you want and taste these wines and, write whatever notes you want. And then we'll take them away and we'll bring them back in a different order for you. So they wanted to know, what's your favorite, and rank them from favorite to least favorite is the way that they structured the event. And so I wrote notes on, okay, this one tastes a little like peach, and this one has a little bit of a honey flavor or aroma. And granted, this was a long time ago, so I didn't know the right words to use.
Exactly.
But to me, that's what they tasted like. And then if you've ever had a New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, or if you love those, they're really grassy and kind of, they have a certain quality about them. Yeah. And I love them. So I could pick out the New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc right away because it's so distinctive. But I made a note, this is New Zealand. And, I just wrote notes on what all those 5 wines were. They took those glasses away. They brought them back in a different order. 5 new wines, 5 new glasses with the same wines, but in different order. And then you ranked them again from favorite to least favorite, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this time it might have been 3 that was the same as number 1. And so they took them away and brought them back again in a new order, and I ranked them again. And I was one of 2 women. There were men there too, but I was one of 2 that was consistent throughout, so that each time they were exactly the same ranking, and I knew which one was which. And I at the time I couldn't say, oh, that one's from California and this one's from France, and that part I couldn't get. But yeah, as they were looking for consistency of palate, so that's a long way to tell you how I got that gig.
No, that is so cool.
It was fun.
I bet. And you do it every year?
Yeah. Well, that one has, because of COVID, is no longer around. But yeah, I do some other competitions every year. The Iowa State Fair, commercial wine competition, the Lynn County Fair in Iowa. There's some others that I substitute for, like if they need a judge to come in, I'll come in and help them out if they're needing somebody.
Nice.
Yeah, super fun.
So cool. So anyone listening would be thinking, how in the heck did you learn about wine? Because it would be intimidating to start in a wine business if you didn't know anything about wine.
Yeah. Yeah. When I first started, I said I could pronounce Merlot, and turns out that's really not the way you're supposed to pronounce it, but Merlot.
Merlot.
Merlot. But yeah, it can be intimidating, and I think it should be fun. It's a fun product. So, part of the reason why we do the wine tastings that we do is to take some of that intimidation out of that process, out of wine, because I think people think, oh, I don't know enough about wine to enjoy it. Well, no, that's not true. Don't let a wine snob tell you that you're not doing it right. Because if you're having fun, you're doing it right.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. But learning about wine, I think the best way to learn about wine is to taste it, is to keep trying, and go to wine tastings and ask questions, or invite someone into your home to do a wine tasting and learn about it. So, I mean, that's the best way to learn, is to ask questions and try more wine.
Yes.
I
agree. Yeah. Work. Yeah. Well, and it's research. So
exactly.
Tax deductions
too.
Yeah. It's required.
It's required. It's my homework.
So tell me then, what is your favorite type of wine?
Oh gosh. That also depends on the day. Yeah. So in summer or in a warm climate, I prefer a crisp white. I love the New Zealand Sauvignon Blancs. I love Prosecco. Bubbles are a girl's best friend.
Bubbles too. Yeah.
What else do I love? Yeah. So in summer, I would prefer something, or maybe something Italian, like agave, or a pecorino is really lovely. And then in a cooler climate, or depending on what I'm eating, or if I'm just having a second glass, I prefer a lighter bodied red, usually like a Pinot Noir or a Sangiovese. Yeah, today is a Tempranillo, but I don't know. Maybe later I'll have something else. Probably. I might. I don't know.
Just maybe.
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is that you have a home in Iowa and in Florida. So in Florida, you're drinking more white, and in Iowa, you're drinking more red. Or actually, would it be the other way around, because you're in Iowa in the summertime and Florida in the wintertime?
It just depends. Yeah.
You're just your palate. You're just messing with it.
I know. It's good to shake things up.
It's true. It's very true. So, okay. What's the furthest that you've gone for a wine tasting?
Oh gosh. I have driven as much as 5 hours for a wine tasting. Yeah, well, and that's a little weird, because I drive back and forth to Florida twice a year. I'll drive down, and then in the spring I'll drive back. And there are folks halfway between that I do tastings with, which is really nice. So that's, about 12 hours either way.
Yeah. I mean, what a great way to break up your trip.
Is it? It is. It's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. And I get to see my friends in the Nashville area and hang out with them for a night, and share some fun wine.
So it's truly traveling vineyard for you.
Yeah,
you
right.
are. Yeah. Stops along the way. That is great.
Well, you recently had a long distance. You went a ways for a wine tasting recently.
I did. Yeah. So I'm in Kansas, and I went to North Carolina, just north of Charlotte. But actually, that was more of an excuse to go on vacation. I mean, the wine tasting was part of it, and we had a great time. But yeah, my husband was a little stressed, so it was time to get away and get him some wine too. Yeah,
that's right. Very good.
Yes. Yeah. So Penny, when does your podcast come out?
I am launching November 2nd, and that is the day after my birthday. I know. Thank you. I'm so excited. And the reason I picked November 2nd was because it's a Thursday, and I think it's appropriate to have my episodes come out on Thirsty Thursday.
Okay. So every Thursday they can find
every
an episode.
Thursday. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Very good. And how can people find you?
They can find me at pennyforyourshots.com. That will take you to my link tree and some information on how to contact me. It has my email and my phone and everything on there, and links to my website too.
Wonderful. Okay. So if someone was interested in having you for a wine tasting, or your wine business, or your corporate events, they can just reach out right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And be happy to give more information with no obligation and just talk through what you're looking for, what you'd like, and answer any wine questions you have too.
I love it. And, I'm glad you said that too, because I would love to have you back just to kind of go through wine 101 basics if you'd be up for
sure.
it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Cool. Right before the pandemic, I studied and passed my certification, my CSW, Certified Specialist of Wine. So that, oh my gosh, I've already forgotten a lot, but that'll be a good opportunity to kind of brush up on some things and to share the fun, some of the fun aspects of wine with our listeners. So yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. I so appreciate you taking the time to be here.
Oh, thank you, Robin. This was a blast, and I can't wait to say a toast to you and your new podcast as well.
Thank you. Well, cheers for both of us.
Yes.
All right. Bye-bye. Do you see why I absolutely adore Penny? She is just so much fun and positive and very knowledgeable and always willing to help someone out. So thankful to her for being here. All right, here are the takeaways. 1, finding what brings you joy might possibly be a real opportunity to your career. Can't hurt to explore your options. 2, fulfillment should be a non-negotiable in your work life. 3, taking a leap of faith can be scary, but worth the step. Create the life you want. 4, wine should be fun, not snobby. If you're having fun, you're doing it right. And 5, bubbles are a girl's best friend. All right, so make sure you check out Penny for your shots. The trailer's already up, and be sure to follow her wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you're on the path from Iowa to Florida or Florida to Iowa, reach out to Penny for a wine tasting. I also wanted to let you know that my Healthy Body Challenge will be starting very soon, and I hope that you will be joining us. This is our 10th year of doing this challenge, and it started because we all decided as a group, those that worked out at my studio, that we were going to not gain weight over the holidays. We just wanted to stay as healthy as we possibly could and not put on extra pounds, because the average person gains between 7 and 8 pounds between Halloween and New Year's. So we're going to take that 8-week span, and each week we will build a new healthy habit with our nutrition and with exercise and all things wellness. There's going to be some extra things sprinkled in as well. And if you sign up by October 21st, you'll also get a 5-day plan to kickstart your healthy journey. So that'll be included as well. You can find information or click the link in spandexandwine.com. You can also find me on Instagram or Facebook at spandexandwine.com, or feel free to send me an email at info@spandexandwine.com. I hope you decide to join us. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoy this podcast, it would mean so much to me if you take a few seconds to do each or all of the following. First, follow or subscribe to Spandex and Wine. It'll help you so you don't miss an episode, and it'll help me because you won't miss any episodes. To do this, you'll just go to the podcast, click subscribe or follow wherever you are listening. Look for the plus sign or follow button, and this is one of the best things that you can do for the podcast, so thank you. If you'd also be willing to give a 5-star review, that would be amazing. And lastly, please share an episode with a friend or 5 to keep the love going. I appreciate you. Thanks.